So yeah, let's get started. My name is Alana Perez. I'm with the Ohio CDC Association. I am the VISTA program director here. And some of you may know about our full-time summers or our full-time VISTA program, but we also have a Summer Associate VISTA program. So we'll just be going over different types of VISTA programs and why Summer Associate is different from those. This is just a brief outline of what we will be discussing today, just recapping a little bit about the Ohio CDC Association, going over our AmeriCorps programs, going over specifically the Summer Associate program, and then looking at program goals, program requirements, and things you should keep in mind when applying for a Summer Associate. So who are we? Some of you are probably really familiar with us already, but we're a statewide membership organization here in Ohio. We work with capacity building and advocacy and public policy. We do a bunch of different things within our organization. In that list below, you see training and professional development. We do affordable housing TA. We have an IDA program, a micro enterprise business program, a social enterprise program, public policy, and then of course AmeriCorps VISTA, which is why you are all here today. So national service is a very, very broad term for a bunch of different programs here in the United States. But basically, CNCS, the Corporation for National Community Service, is a federal agency that oversees all national service. That includes, we're going to go over them, but that includes AmeriCorps State and National, FEMA Corps, NCCC, VISTA, and then all of the other smaller AmeriCorps programs that are that you might be familiar with, like City Year. Those are all considered national service. The mission of CNCS is to improve lives and strengthen communities, and we do that through service and volunteering. So these are 4 CNCS goals. These are for every program across the federal agency. Most of them are focused on impact. So increasing the impact of national service on community needs, strengthening national service so that participants are more engaged, and then maximizing the value that CNCS adds to grantees, partners, and participants, and then fortifying management, operations, and sustain a capable, responsive, and accountable organization. So those are CNCS goals. They've really focused, I would think they are focusing a lot more on goal 2 now, where they've taken the past couple of years to really evaluate the current CNCS national service programs to better identify ways to build the program to increase participation, increase benefits for participants. So I've seen a lot of goal 2 sort of being focused on in the past couple of years, and this is mostly reflected in YC is VISTA benefits and evaluating VISTA benefits and where the weighing the pros and cons of being, if you're a member, what is going to entice you to be a member either in the future or stay a member currently. So that's something that we're watching play out right now, which is pretty interesting. So I'm just going to kind of go over different types of AmeriCorps programs. These, for the most part, are longer programs, so they're usually like 10 to 12 months. But I think it's helpful for you guys to keep in mind when you're looking at different types of AmeriCorps or when you're looking at our Summer Associate program to understand what other options there are available to you. So NCCC is full-time, it's residential based, and it's for, there's an age group that you have to be, so it's 18 to 26. It used to be 18 to 24, but they bumped that up. And they serve in different campuses throughout the United States, and they're regionally assigned. Usually it's focused on infrastructure improvement, natural disasters, and urban and rural development, and then a lot of conservation efforts. Like I said, they're regionally based, so an NCCC member will be in one of 4 campuses in the United States, and then from those campuses, they'll spend weeks or maybe a month at a different location. And NCCC works with FEMA Corps. So FEMA Corps is under NCCC. And this is specifically for disaster response and management. And most of FEMA Corps focuses on disaster survivor assistance, individual assistance, and then logistics and planning for public disasters and public preparedness, or disaster preparedness. So FEMA Corps is just, it's NCCC, but more specialized. And then there's AmeriCorps State and National. This is probably the broadest term for a national service member. I did AmeriCorps State and National. I worked with the American Red Cross. We were the Red Cross Corps, and you'll hear a lot of different types of corps, Share Corps, Earth Corps. All of these different corps are going to fall under AmeriCorps State and National. And like it says there, it supports a wide range of local service programs that engage thousands of Americans throughout the country. They serve in every U.S. territory, state, and on tribal reservations. You have to be 17 or older for this. There is no age cap, and there isn't any sort of additional requirements or education requirements unless specified by a specific organization. Typically, they focus on environmental conservation. Like you'll see on the right, those are some Earth Corps members. One of them is my little sister, and she worked in and around the Seattle area on conservation efforts, disaster response. So like I said, I worked with the American Red Cross, and I did a lot of earthquake and fire preparedness for people, for both kids and adults. We also did a lot of education programs. So state and national, very, very broad. Their service terms can range from like 10 to 12 months, depending on what you're looking for. And there's tons of organizations and tons of different corps that fall under AmeriCorps State and National. And then we have AmeriCorps VISTA. VISTA was its own thing before being brought under the CNCS umbrella. But Volunteers in Service to America was started in the 60s. And now it's just a national program that's under CNCS. It's dedicated to alleviating poverty. It says ending poverty there, but realistically, it's alleviating poverty by building capacity of organizations that VISTA serve at. They serve for exactly 1 year, so full 365 days. And VISTAs only make the cost of living. So that just means a living stipend and some VISTA benefits, which we will go into later. But the key factor for AmeriCorps VISTA is that they're capacity building. You'll hear the words direct and indirect service thrown around. VISTAs are not allowed to do direct service. They're only allowed to do indirect service, which is basically focusing on the organization that they're working at to better build up that organization. So when that VISTA's gone, that organization can thrive and flourish past the VISTA's term. So what is a summer associate? A summer associate is still an AmeriCorps VISTA, the key difference being what they're allowed to do. So they serve for a short term for the Ohio CDC Association. It's 10 weeks, so they start in June and they would end in August. There are different programs that have 8 weeks, 9 weeks. We do the max 10 weeks for our program. And then unlike full-time VISTAs, summer associates are allowed to do both indirect and direct service. They are a great option for an organization who maybe currently has a VISTA or has a VISTA that's about to end, or has other AmeriCorps members that are working on projects and you really just want some more hands-on support. Summer Associate is a great way to do this. They complement current programs well, but I will say you don't have to have a current VISTA or have a current AmeriCorps member in order to get a summer associate, but they are something to keep in mind if you have someone currently and you are really looking to take your current project to the next level. Since they're serving in the summer, we usually see a lot of summer associates that'll work on seasonal projects. So for example, gardens, You know, the summer is a great time to sort of be outdoors. So we see a lot of summer associates that focus on food access, but of course it's not specific to that. I guess enhancing existing programs is the best way to think about summer associates, because they're really there for both indirect and direct service. So they can build the capacity with your organization if that's all you want to focus on, but if you'd like to get them out in the community as well, you can definitely do that. So just to recap, direct service versus capacity building. So capacity building is working with staff or your organization to expand and strengthen systems within your organization that help you better carry out your mission. This could look like updating a process that you currently have, updating tracking software that you have, doing research on new ways to implement a program, developing a curriculum for a program that you're looking to get off the ground, any sort of research, development, implementation, planning, and analysis. That is all great capacity building work for VISTAs. And then direct service refers to anything that immediately addresses the client's needs. So, for example, tutoring someone would be direct service. Teaching a class would be direct service. You know, recruiting volunteers, that would, yeah, that's more capacity building. But yeah, anything that's like directly addressing a client's needs would be direct service, which is why we say summer associates tend to be really great for complementing current projects, just because if you have a VISTA, they're not allowed to directly teach a class, they're not allowed to do a lot of things. But summer associates can. So you can sort of work together to get the most out of their service year. So these are just more examples of direct service versus capacity building. This is more important to keep in mind if you have just a full-time VISTA. But when you're looking at these, summer associates are allowed to do everything on this cool little table. So the Ohio CDC Association's VISTA Project was started in 1995 as a partnership between CNCS and Ohio CDC Association. We place full-time VISTA members and summer associates throughout the state of Ohio. Currently, we have 24 summer associate slots available that we're looking to place throughout the state of Ohio for 10 weeks. They will start in June, they will end in August. The specific dates are not set in stone yet, but they will be starting at the beginning of June and ending in August. If you have had VISTAs in the past, you will know that sometimes if you are unable to recruit a VISTA for June, then usually you'd be able to do it in July. That's not the case for summer associates. We have one start date for summer associates and one end date. And there's no flexibility with that. We will be reserving some spots for housing only initiatives. This doesn't mean that if you are looking for housing support, you can't put anything else on a summer associate bed. But as long as the housing is I guess a priority on your VAD, we would consider that a housing only initiative. The project goals for the summer associate program are the same as the Ohio CDC VISTA program. We recently updated those. Not on the next slide. They're on the next slide. But we recently updated those this past year. So these are CNCS focus areas, and then the bold is CNCS focus areas that Ohio CDC is focusing on. So CNCS covers all of these. All of the programs cover all 6 of these goals. For our VISTA program, we focus on economic opportunity, environmental stewardship, and healthy futures. Ooh. So this is a lot. I'm not going to read all of them, but these are updated VISTA project goals that are that also are applied to summer associates. So you are probably familiar with our previous goals, which were a lot more brief. But take a look at these. We've also added 2 additional goals that we feel helps sort of expand the scope of what organizations typically do, as well as basically giving you guys a little bit more leeway with what projects can focus on. These are all listed in the application. These are all listed right before the VAD as well. These project goals are really, really important when looking at the VAD, because this is what you would list at the top of the VAD on the goals section. This is just a breakdown of CNCS to subsites. So up at the top, you'll see CNCS, the Corporation for National Community Service, / AmeriCorps VISTA. We directly report to CNCS. So my direct contact is Noel Welsh. He is our portfolio manager at the Midwest Regional Office. And they're up at the top. They're the ones that do all of the reporting that we collect goes directly to them. They're the ones that manage our grant. And then down below, you see the Ohio CDC Association. That is us, me. We manage the VISTA program and the Summer Associate VISTA program. And so we receive the funds that we then allot to sites throughout the state. And then subsites, which is you guys. So you guys are the ones that are providing your VISTA members with the daily support. You're the ones that know your projects inside and out, you know, contacts within the community, you know exactly what your organization needs, and you're the one providing your VISTA with the direct support to complete their project. Your VISTA should be going to you for any project-based questions like, who do I meet for this, or where do I go for this, or I'm having trouble with this. That would be you as a subsite working with your VISTA to solve any issues for them to meet their own goals. So program requirements. The program fee is $600 for VISTA Summer Associate. You do have, the Summer Associates do have to have one full-time staff member act as a supervisor, and the supervisor can't be another national service member. You are expected to provide reasonable resources to your Summer Associate. That means if you're requiring your Summer Associate to be on the computer all the time, you're providing them with a workspace or a computer that they can be working from. You are also required to assist with biweekly reporting. Full-time VISTAs only submit reporting once a month. Summer Associates submit it every 2 weeks. Because they're there for a shorter amount of time, we have them report more often. And then Summer Associates can't displace staff or supervise employees. This is, I tend to get a lot of questions about this, about like, what is staff replacement? Basically, if you are, staff replacement would be, let's just say, having a Summer Associate sitting at the front desk answering phones, because that is not capacity building, and it's not really direct service either. Usually I have to answer this question on a case-by-case basis. But basically, if your VISTA or if your Summer Associate is doing anything that would be typically done by a staff member regardless, would be considered staff replacement. If you have questions about this or you're not sure, please let me know. Usually I need context to answer this more detailed. And then final requirement is if your Summer Associate for any point during their service have to leave, you cannot receive a replacement Summer Associate. Again, there's a lot more flexibility with this when it comes to the full-time VISTA program, but for Summer Associates, they're only there for the 10 weeks, so there's just no leeway with start date and dates or replacing a Summer Associate. So a lot of the guidelines will be similar to VISTA's. For example, Summer Associates are required to work full-time. That means working at least 37.5 hours a week. Of course, this is not like the maximum that they're allowed to work. That's the minimum. So if your organization, let's just say it has a huge event and everybody's working like 40 hours a week, or are just pulling a little bit of extra weight that week, it's fully acceptable for your VISTA to be expected to meet that requirements as well. As long as you're communicating with your VISTA or with your Summer Associate about their hours and when you'll need them, and as long as they're meeting that 37.5 hours a week, they should be following your organization's guidelines. I would hope you're not having them work like 60 hours a week, but you know, summer associates are not allowed to have unemployment outside of service. I am going to double check on this. And this is just kind of note for everybody. There's not a ton of information on summer associates online, so I want to say this has been updated. I know it has for full-time Vistas, but I'll have to double check with you guys on that. Summer associate members are not allowed to participate in religious instruction or proselytizing, or engage in political activity while on duty or perceived to be on duty as a VISTA. This is the same for full-time VISTAs, but basically, if VISTA or summer associate is on duty, or they're wearing an AmeriCorps shirt or an AmeriCorps hat, or their social media has an AmeriCorps icon, they cannot be engaging in any forbidden activities. And this just means, like, if they go to a protest or something, as long as they're not wearing an AmeriCorps shirt, it's fine. You know, I can't tell them what to do in their personal times, and I don't want to. So it's really while on duty or perceived to be on duty. Those are like that's the key phrase. So just keep that in mind. I have the same conversations with summer associates and the Vistas on what they are allowed and not allowed to do, and a lot of it comes down to kind of just be smart. And then, unlike full-time Vistas, summer associates don't get any leave time. On paper, they don't get any leave time. Of course, you know, especially now, if your Vista is sick, please don't have them come to work. I will be fully understanding, as long as you're communicating with them, as long as they're communicating with you. If there's any additional steps you can take for them to maybe work from home, you know, that's fine. But of course, they should not be coming into the office if they're sick. They don't get sick time. And I would say if there's something larger, they do qualify for emergency leave. That's a whole, you have to get that approved by CNCS. But if you think that's the case, let's just say you're not sure, please let me know, and I can give you further guidance based on the situation. But yeah, summer associates and their leave time is more on you as the supervisor to make sure that you're communicating with me and with your VISTA. Like, let's just say, you know, so-and-so tested positive for COVID. They're working from home, but they missed like 2 days. That's fine. That's fine. So some benefits. Summer associates receive the same living allowance that full-time Vistas do, which comes out to about $625 per pay period. They're paid twice a month, which is different than other national service organizations or even VISTA organizations that are paid by CNCS. Since due to the nature of our grants, CNCS, we handle all of our payroll in-house for VISTA and summer associates. So they're on the same pay schedule as like me as an employee, and they get paid twice a month. For end of service awards, summer associates also do have an education award choice or an end of service stipend choice. The education award comes out to about $1,300 to be used towards tuition, loans, books, however the VISTA sees fit. And then the end of service stipend for a summer associate is about $345. And they're only eligible for these end of service awards if they finish their service year. And then both options are subject to taxes. So the application was made available. It's open right now. You go to our website. There's probably, you'll see like a big AmeriCorps logo, and you just click on that and it'll take you directly to the AmeriCorps page with the application on it. Those will be due February 4th by 12 p.m. you have to be a member in good standing in order to, it says good standing member. You don't have to be a member to apply, but if you are awarded a summer associate, you do have to become a member. You must be a 501c3 nonprofit. We do also accept government agencies. And then this is super important. You must have a VISTA assignment description and have a project that aligns with the Ohio CDC Association's program goals. If you're looking at the application, there's something called the VISTA assignment description, or the VAD. I'll say VAD a lot. And that's basically the work plan for your VISTA for their entire service term. So for a summer associate, they should be able to look at their VAD and know exactly what they're going to be doing for the next 10 weeks. How you break that down is up to you, but usually people, it makes most sense to do it by activity. So if you know an activity is going to take the full 10 weeks, that's fine. Some people have activities that take full 10 weeks, and then activities that maybe only take 1 or 2 weeks. But as long as your VISTA looks at that and knows exactly, like, okay, for the next 10 weeks, this is exactly what I'll be working on. That's the goal of your VISTA assignment description. If you are applying or you're going through your application and you get to the VISTA assignment description and you're like, oh man, this looks crazy, just give me a call and I can walk you through it. I feel like it's really, really overwhelming to look at it. But once you sort of talk it through, it starts to make a lot more sense. So that's all of the formal information I have. I'm assuming there's questions. I'm open for questions. There's a link for the Summer Associates program on AmeriCorps.gov. However, if you go there, you won't find a lot of information because it's pretty threadbare. So I am going to open it up to questions. I will stop sharing my screen.
I have a couple of questions, if
Yes.
I may. This is Bobby Taylor. This is Lorain County Community Action Agency. Are there any vaccination requirements?
Not from CNCS. However, we have it outlined in our MOU. I can't remember if we specified this in our summer associate applications. We did in the full-time. When you hire a candidate, you have to disclose any vaccination requirements that your organization has. So any guidelines that your organization has, your VISTA is expected to follow. But you do need to communicate that with them when you hire them.
And you mentioned there were 24 available throughout the state,
yes.
And some were allocated for housing specific.
Yes.
So how many are dedicated to housing specific out of the 24?
5. And that's if we have like 7 housing only initiatives, that's great. We don't max it out at 5, but we do reserve 5 specifically.
And my last question, I don't want to dominate. Is there a maximum amount of hours that they can work? So I know it's a minimum of 37.5 hours a week, but is there a maximum amount of hours?
No, for summer associates and for VISTAs, they're technically like 24/7, 365 days a year. They are on duty. So there is no maximum. Yeah.
But the minimum is an average of, well, I guess it would be 375 hours.
Yes.
The minimum. Okay. Okay.
Hey, Alana, I may have missed this. Do you think they'll still be doing some remote service this summer as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes. For full-time and summer associates, I'm expecting teleservice work to be kind of just a given. If you have a hybrid model, that's fine. If you have a fully in-person model, that's fine too. You just need to take that into consideration when talking to your candidates. other questions? Okay. I'll just say it's probably easier to give me a call if you have more questions than trying to sift through the AmeriCorps.gov website, especially when it comes to our specific program. Yeah, a lot of the guidelines are the same if you've applied for a full-time VISTA in terms of, what to expect when recruiting. But I'm happy to walk through anybody's application with them just to make sure that it's, more competitive. We are also moving offices, so I can't allocate a ton of time to that. But I'll help as much as I can. Yeah. Yes, this is going to be recorded. I'm also going to send out the PowerPoint slides for you guys to reference, as well as the link to this recording, and then probably additional documents that I think of as I'm writing the email. So, cool. There aren't any more questions. I will go ahead and end this. No? Okay. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, so much. I hope this is helpful. I look forward to your applications. Have a good Thursday. Bye.